Demarius Randall, what he's been able to do for you guys with his flexibility, how valuable is it?
It's very valuable, and again, one of the things that points out that when I tell you guys this, I mean it, is that everybody on our team, every defensive player has to play more than one position, and position flexibility improves your chances of being successful in many ways. I really liked him coming out. When I was with the Rams at that time, we really liked him, and would have loved to have had a chance to coach him. And at the safety position that he was playing in college, and then I think Dom and Mike McCarthy and everybody had him playing at the corner and nickel position up there, and I thought, boy, that's even better position flexibility. So when we had a chance to get him back here, and we've been doing that, since OTAs and minicamp and training camp, have been playing him in that position quite a bit in practices and stuff too. So when the chance arose, we got to get ready to roll. And it's the next man up. It's not only him, it's each week, each day in practice, guys are forced to go in and play other positions. And as a coach and as a player, we concept teach and we concept learn. And if you are challenged in that way, you'll have a hard time playing for us, because you have to understand the concepts of the call, the concepts of the scheme, the concepts of what we do, and now next man up, best guy up.
How did he play?
He played good. He played good, and one of the things that caught my eye was last year when he played against us here last year when he was at the Packers. I was watching him during the game, a couple of times during the game. I'm thinking, wow, and then the opportunity for him to get here once that discussion came up, back in the winter, I was all for it, because I saw how well he could do those type of things. And, he's battled through injuries. That's the toughness part of our position. Everybody here has got some type of a nick or something that's aching. Hell, I ache every day when I walk in here, so that's just part of our business, and you have to be able to fight through those things. He does a good job with that, as a lot of the other guys that we have, and the position flexibility helps.
Him playing quarterback, boddy-calhoun played, I think, every snap on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't played a lot this season, so what did you think?
Yeah, and, it was a lot from the fortunately, he was fresh, but and not only that, was all the special teams plays too. So I think Coach Jackson and I think Joe Sheehan's done a really good job. We've battled all year long on playing the most plays in the National Football League. We've played the most plays, and with all the overtimes. And then some of the things that you have to do to get their bodies right, get them back to recover, to bounce back. Body's done a good job with that, and these guys here do a good job with all the facilities we have here for recovery and all the things that they can do to improve recovery. He played well. He did good. But he's been doing that. It wasn't something where that was shocked. He's playing in practice in all those positions too. He played multiple positions in the game too, not just in one position. So, and I said this last week, is that when it's all done, over and done, he thinks he wants to coach. So I think he's got a very good understanding about how to do those type of things and do more than one thing.
What did Connor show you week one, and then since week one against everybody else, he's kept up that?
Until you get a chance to be in live competition, you don't really know completely about a guy. I was very impressed in opener. And the first words out of my mouth when the advanced scouts came back and gave us a report last Monday night, we always meet on Monday night after a game to get us a jump start going into the Tuesday game planning and stuff, is that I had watched a ton of film on him in the afternoon last Monday, and he looks fresh. He looks better. I think he's even improved since the first game that we played against them, and that's through experience. He has I think his quickness and his feel on in space plays. He's doing a really good job, even better job in space than what he was doing coming into our game. I thought he pressed the hole. I thought he's a dominant, powerful runner, and he's improved in his pass game. So time on task for him. We got our work cut out for us. We're going to have to do a good job. He has played very well this season, and it's also good in the back of my mind is that it's good to see guys that overcome a lot in life like he's had to overcome. And, I shake my head. And those are the kind of guys that I have even more respect for. The guys that push through, do whatever it takes, overcome a lot of adversity in life, and then also, have a good chance to be a good football player the way he has been doing it. And he's grasped the moment, he's tackled the moment, he's done a good job with the moment, and he's improving.
Freshness, what impact could it have that they're coming off a bye? You guys are about to play.
Yeah, it's always that way. And we look at that as a schedule as we plan as coaches too. We think we want to try to cover everything, but it comes down to the day of the game and playing on the day of the game is that we think that, they'll come out energized, and that's been a part of what we talk about from an analysis part of the Fuse, and as we situationally coach and situationally talk about everything. Even in fact, today we do a report today on and spend time in practice and periods a day on how we believe or how we're guessing that they're going to start the game, how they do, and how we guess that they're going to start the second half. So we do an analysis on that, and they'll be energized. And we've talked about we have to match and pass that energy, and it's that way every year. When you're coming off a bye date, somebody will have to do that to us later on when we finally get one.
The Denzel Ward strip, it looked like the guy caught it and was a strip fumble turnover. Did you see that as an incomplete pass, or did you think Ward made a pretty good play?
I thought he made a really good play. Yeah, and yes, again, those are bam, 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 bam type things, but and he's got a really good feel for that. And and as we just talk about Connor, these guys that all of a sudden there's a shock wave when they come into this league with the pace and the decision making and the speed and the reaction times and stuff. I thought it was a really good play that he made. And then what we have to do now is that he has to continue to fight through some of the other things that he only sees for the first time this year. There's things I can't cover in practice that all of a sudden come up in a game. Okay, and you got to be able to react to that and grow from that. And he's been doing a good job with those things. He really has.
Is that common for a guy as young as him to be as good as he is at taking the ball away?
No, but I say that no because he has done it at every level. And I do say this, not going into scouting or anything, but I always shake my head when they ask me this in scouting season. A guy who's never intercepted a pass, who's never taken a ball away in high school and college, and all of a sudden you think he's going to do it when he gets up here just because I'm talking to him. The ones that are good at it have always done it, and he's always done that. And that was one of the things that we went all the way back, talked to junior high coaches and talked to little league coaches, and because it's local here too. That does not surprise me that he's that good with it. And he's very good at some other things, though, that did surprise me on his ability to battle, up in the air, strong in the air, in the back parts of end zones, on those things. He's a lot stronger than I gave him credit for when I was evaluating, and I would not know that until I got a chance to feel his presence on the field. And once I felt his presence on the field, now I'm asking him to do more. And that's just more of it. But he's very good with that.
What's Juju doing better this year than he did last year, and how big of a challenge
Yeah,
is it?
He's making faster decisions himself. He's not, what I see is not over-analyzing certain things within a route and stuff, but the biggest thing is the chemistry with the quarterback confidence in him, and the quarterback throwing him open, and that feel of they've had enough time on task together where they know what each other is doing without making an obvious alert or an obvious signal. And I see that with better communication.
Got more? The NFL fired a ref this week.
They did.
The guy who missed the false start. A couple of your guys have expressed frustration about calls every week. How do you keep them from not making that an issue when it certainly doesn't seem like things are evening out with the Browns?
And I will tell you this, and I talk about it daily. I really do. Okay, I don't want to hear their excuses. I don't make the excuse. I don't want them to make the excuse. Okay, everybody's going to make a mistake. We got to play. We got to do our part. Okay, and that particular play that's been talked about along, I'm hot at how we handled the play, not how the referee handled the play. We got to finish the rush. We stopped rushing. We got to finish the coverage. You got to finish the coverage. We've had over 100 snaps like that. We had one of them in practice today. And you guys weren't out there, but I snapped on them a day where we had a false start by, our offensive lineman, and our guy stopped in the rush. You don't stop in the rush. You keep going, okay? You have to finish the play and let them call the play dead. So, no excuses. We got to do our job. It's hard. And, the other thing, too, as you see, is that as the game evolved, after 30 years I've been in the league, the game has gotten faster and faster and faster and faster. And it's not easy for those guys making those decisions like that. It's not easy. And there's not a lot of places to practice other than time on task here. Because you can practice all you want in the SEC. You can practice all you want in high school. It ain't that fast until you get up here. And, I understand some of that. And, those guys are doing everything they can to get trained more. And they go behind the scenes and do a lot of more training things and spend more time in training camps before they have to make the full speed decisions. But it's not easy. And we got to do our job. They got to do their job. Okay. And that's what I preach to our guys.
Are you guys changing the way you officiate practice to get them used to those adverse situations?
No, we don't. And that's a good question. No. And our guys, and I've been in the luxury for a long time. Dan Snyder did a good job of that when I was at the Washington Redskins. We had officials all the time at practice. Joe Gibbs wanted that, and they had not done that until Joe came back. And so that does help in practice. And it helps me push the point of what Pat just asked about was finish the play. Do your job, okay? Don't worry about them. Do your job. And then every place else I've been, we have had officials at practice. So, no, we've got to get going. And they give a report every day to Hugh, the head coach, too. So we can talk about penalty plays in practices that all of a sudden, we got to correct this stuff here so it doesn't come up in a game.
Natural for a guy to let up?
Pardon me?
Is it just kind of almost natural for a guy to
No,
let up?
it is in respect. They're expecting the whistle, and you got to fight through that, okay? And if the whistle's not blown, hey, stop on the whistle, not on the movement. And that's a conditioned stimulus response, okay? And they get tired of hearing me say that, but you have to make that your habit. And some do, some don't.